right, welcome to another episode of Bloodhound Pix. Sans Craig this time. We are going to talk about James Wan's latest ridiculous fucking movie, Malignant.
I'm having visions.
The body of Dr. Florence Weaver was found brutally murdered in her home this morning.
Did you know her? No, but I saw her die. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing murders as they're happening.
Hello?
He says his name is Gabriel. I think he's someone from my past.
Happy birthday.
Whatever happened to you before you joined our family hurt you in a way that I can't even imagine.
Stop saying that.
Maddie, who are you talking to?
Gabriel.
Is he your imaginary friend? Imaginary?
He's the devil.
Whatever it was.
It's back. He killed again. He's getting closer. He wants to talk to you. Mom, what do you know? He's coming for me. Who are you, Gabriel?
Josh, you want to do the synopsis?
Yeah, I will do that. Yeah, we're without Craig today because he's got more important stuff to do. I'm assuming that most people will know the synopsis of Malignant, but the first thing that I came up with is paralyzed by fear from shocking visions, a woman's torment worsens as she discovers her waking dreams are terrifying realities. That's a really vague synopsis of this movie, but I guess that's true.
Yeah, it is. Very not specific at all.
Yeah. Which is sort of funny because a lot of the film itself doesn't really make sense. In fact, most of it doesn't make sense. And a lot of it is kind of, I mean, I don't even know, the best word that I can think of is just dumb, but it's always like really fun and like just completely fucking ape shit. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I think, at least I've read, that people complaining about, like it doesn't make sense or, you know, it's fucking stupid. Yeah, you're right. But, you know, sometimes that's fine. And I guess for me, like this movie has like a fucking M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end of it that pretty much redeems everything about it beforehand. So, I mean, that's pretty nuts if an ending and a twist ending can pretty much redeem every sort of thing that you didn't like about a movie prior.
It's crazy. It's probably, I mean, I feel like there has to be another movie like that, but I'm sure not anything I've seen in years can I think of where a movie like was this dumb and this like where you're just blatantly like, who the fuck wrote this shit? So it's so on the nose, and you know what I mean, and you're just kind of like, oh, I'll stick with it, and then the movie totally does a 180 and wins you over. I can't think of any other movie.
Yeah,
I'm sure there is, but like definitely not in recent times.
Yeah, it is. It does have a feeling of like, I mean, it almost seems like it was like something that came out like out of the 90s or something. Because, I mean, I'm not trying to say that the 90s produced a lot of dumb shit with crazy twist endings, but it just the way that, like, you know, you just said, Kyle, like the kind of like on the nose like dialogue where it's just like, why did you say that?
Yeah.
We didn't need to hear that. That didn't need to be said, but it would just like happen over and over. So it's like, are you purposely trying to do something like that? I mean, I don't know the answer, but yeah, it's a rarity to me that a movie like with a script that's structured like this one was happens ever. I mean, you know, I'm just as hard pressed to come up with another example, you know, as you are.
Yeah. Well, and it's like they're just lucky people finished it.
Oh,
like,
I know.
You could have easily just gave up because the twist is so fucking late.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it's also, I mean, it's like a weird movie to recommend too, because like my friend loves Basket Case, and he heard Malignant was like terrible, and I was like, just watch it. And I want to, you know, he's like, I want to tell you where it's going, but then it's not going to be as good if I tell you what the twist is. I'm like, just watch it, and and keep watching, keep watching until like an hour and 45 minutes in.
Yeah, it's like with a hour and 51 minute runtime. Yeah, it takes about an hour and 45 minutes before it shit like just goes crazy, and like, holy shit, that just redeemed my entire fucking viewing experience.
It really does feel like a 90s movie too. Now that you mention it, like it feels like this could have been made in the 90s and it would have been dead serious.
Yeah. And I don't even. It's hard for me to even like articulate why, but it just. I mean, if you know, you know, like something from the fucking 90s, it just feels like Malignant would fucking fit right in with it. And you know, you're gonna have to be of a certain age to even get that, but yeah, it's just it's the best thing that we've kind of said and haven't said at the same time is that, I mean, we can't even think of another example of a movie that works like this. So that's praising for sure, because that shit just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, not anyone could even do it anyways. Like, because he's James Wan and he has a big enough name, people are actually going to stick with the movie, I guess, more than if this was like somebody's first movie or something, it would not probably work.
Oh, it probably wouldn't even have gotten made. I mean, you know, because, you know, if you pitch this movie and you're not James Wan, you're probably going to get fucking blacklisted from ever talking to anyone again about fucking a movie, an idea for a movie. Yeah, so, you know, it is James Wan, and that was one thing that I did kind of feel a little, I guess, annoyed with was the directing of the movie felt pretty uninspired to me, especially like when you you know, think about the fact that, like, you know, this is the same dude that directed the first Saw and that is inspired direction. The stuff that you kind of get in Malignant, it almost seems like, and again, I don't know, is he trying to not do a good job, or but it just feels like, especially for him, that he just wasn't all that interested in directing this movie. But I don't know.
It seems like he didn't give a shit about anything except the set pieces. Because that's like why also,
yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
All the writing feels like so on the nose and so somewhat like overwritten too, where I was like, you could have cut, like there's ways you could have condensed this shit or just communicated that she's adopted or like these things way easier than her just going, I was adopted, by the way. You know, like, is that the best you could come up with? But it feels like he was just like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, here, you need to know all this shit so we can get to the part where there's a fucking hairy dude with a knife fucking doing flips.
So we can get to the next murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, to the credit of the script, it does seem like about, what do you have to wait, like maybe 10 minutes before there's the next set piece in this movie? I mean, it's pretty quick. Yeah, they come pretty frequently. And you were just talking about trimming and that sort of thing too. Like it does not need to be an hour and 51 minutes either. I mean, that in and of itself was almost enough for me to not watch it. Because there's no reason that this needs to be that long. But again, James Wan is kind of at the point where he can pretty much do whatever the fuck he wants. So, hour and 51 minutes it is.
I mean, and I guess it makes it better in a way. It all makes it better because that twist is so fucking ridiculous and recontextualizes the shit that came before that you're like, okay, I forgive it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess we're not going to be spoiling what that is, but it suffice to say, it's fucking bizarre. It's fucking crazy. It's complete fucking ape shit. Funny thing though to me is that is all true. But I do know of a particular Tales from the Crypt episode that pretty much does the exact same thing, and therefore that would have been adapted from a fucking comic book from the 50s,
right?
It literally, and it's literally the same exact thing. Obviously, the stories getting from point A to point B being, are completely different, but there's an old Tales from the Crypt that was actually filmed too for the TV show where it's literally the same sort of rug pulling out from under you, random as hell, never ever would see coming twist that Malignant did. So I it was funny too because I had actually revisited all 7 seasons of Tales from the Crypt recently, and so having seen it somewhat recently and then seeing Malignant, I was just like, oh my god, I'm so glad I did that. Because it's like I almost feel like horror fans are going to be all about Tales from the Crypt, or you fucking should be. But I wonder if that episode is one of those ones that is kind of, obscure enough that no one's really gonna pitch a fit about it. I don't know. But for I
would assume Wan has seen it, right? I don't know. I mean, you can't make that assumption, but it seems like it. But on top of all that you're saying, we just talked about how bad the writing is. Maybe it's so bad that they're like, well, I don't want to say that he stole my idea. This shit's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's a lot that we obviously don't know, but we can kind of, speculate and, like James Wan probably having seen the Tales from the Crypt episode, because I think he would be full of shit if he said he didn't, but who knows?
I mean, it's also the typical fucking... This is as close as a spoiler as we'll get, but it's the typical... I mean, it's the archetypal story or whatever. It's kind of the person and their shadow, self, sibling, whatever,
Yeah.
In a more general sense.
Yeah, that is definitely. I can't remember what the fuck I was going to say. It was just, it's been a while since we saw it. We should have done this episode a lot sooner than now, but I was kind of, I was gonna fucking rewatch it, but it's already fucking off HBO Max.
Really? Fuck.
Which is, yeah, and I think it was gone maybe a couple weeks after it premiered. So I couldn't watch it again, but I was kind of going back and just rereading some other takes just to refresh my memory of certain parts of it, but there was also, I was reminded of this more kind of like on the nose shit where somebody I don't even remember who it was, and I'm not gonna worry about trying to remember, but the amount of times that it's actually a character actually talks about her, the main character's miscarriages, and how it's like 4 different characters like say this shit, and it's like I remember being like, Jesus, why do you keep having someone mention that shit? That's enough. We get it. But it's funny. It doesn't sound like it's funny, but it's funny.
Is funny. But but yeah, it's another thing. If you're thinking about it from a writing standpoint, you're like, there's a way you could do, I don't know, you really don't really want to do a flashback, but you could do like quick flashback. I mean, there's other ways you could communicate that she's had miscarriages that would be more cinematic than like people talking about it every 5 minutes.
Yeah, the 4th different character mentioning it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange that a movie can be that kind of stupid, because I mean, I can't think of a better way of describing it. It's stupid, but it's also really fun in a stupid way. And then that fucking, yeah, it's just to have something where a complete out of left field twist ending pretty much completely makes every stupid thing that came before it just fine. I mean, that's really doing something right.
It's impressive.
It's fucking impressive, yeah.
And it's refreshing, honestly, now after having finally seen the new Candyman and then seen Halloween Kills, which both are so fucking pretentious. So, you know what I mean? So then you see this, and it seems like maybe it could go that way, or it is very, like, kind of on the nose, and then it just totally is like, yeah, we don't give a shit about that. We just want to show you the craziest fucking shit we can think of, and there's no, like, we're not fucking trying to save the world with our dumbass movie.
Oh my god, yeah, that's a fucking great point. And it's, so Kyle obviously just mentioned like three of the biggest horror films. What in Malignant came out, was that August when that came out? Or was it September?
I think it was August.
Okay, either way. So in the past 3 months, not even 3 months, between Malignant, Halloween Kills, and the Candyman, right? Those are 3 huge horror releases, and I mean, between the 3, I would probably only want to watch Malignant again. So
exactly, yeah.
I mean, Because it's one of those things where even knowing what's coming, it's still going to be a good thing. It's still going to be fun and not pretentious and fucking high and mighty like Candyman and Halloween Kills.
Yeah. Which I am weirdly excited for Halloween Ends because I think it's just going to be so fucking pretentious that it's going to be like a comedy.
Let's hope so.
I don't know what else it can be. I mean, I've heard that it's going to tangent. I've heard it's going to be like a year later or a couple years later, and it's going to be like post COVID-19. So you're going to like talk about that. Yeah, I know. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Yeah, so
it doesn't. It's a fucking Halloween movie.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're essentially saying is if you haven't seen Malignant, you should fucking see it because it's well worth the time. And
wherever you can find it, I guess, because now HBO's
that's
being
fucking weird.
Dumb. It's weird because I thought they were like I thought they co-produced it or something. I guess they just had a deal to release it on HBO. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that whole thing works, especially now that it's kind of, the new thing for at least certain things to do. Go theaters and streaming at the same time. But yeah, it was not fucking on there. Cause I was actually like going to rewatch it, especially for this, but I don't know how the hell you can see it now unless it's out on Blu-ray.
I mean, there must be a Blu-ray. Yeah. And it's too bad. I feel like Craig's not going to watch it ever, especially now that we can't find it. But
oh god, no!
It would have been interesting to hear what he had to say because I don't know if he would have been won over or not, but he definitely would be the least interested in the movie, probably regardless.
That is 100% correct.
So on that note, go see Malignant. I could say like, subscribe, follow, but
hopefully you already have.
Yeah, hopefully you're already doing that. All right, till next time.
Pix podcast is part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcast Network. Produced by Josh Lee, Craig Drum, and Kyle Hintz. Music by Raymond Seed. Editing by Kyle Hintz.